Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer are talking about limiting corporate buybacks. Look at my shirt. It says, "No, not today." No, I do not approve of that idea, and I'm going to explain why in this video. Now, corporate buybacks are a very important way for companies to be able to allocate their capital in a low-risk way. Now, why is it low risk? It's because whenever companies buy back their own shares at a value that they think is less than what the stock is worth, then they can stand to make a lot of money. Now, a lot of times after earnings, after the company has inventoried all its earnings, they have extra earnings left over, and it's not always evident at that very point in time what the best thing to do with the earnings are. Now, Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer believe that this money should go to the employees, and while I understand that sentiment, I don't think that Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer understand how corporations work at all. And maybe they do, but they're just trying to win political points for the next election. Who knows? It's hard to tell with politicians. However, I want to explain why I think this is a bad idea, and I want to explain how corporate buybacks work. So, whenever a company has money, it's not always evident how it should be spent. But there is a low-risk way of allocating money, and that is corporate buybacks. Because if the company buys back its own shares and it needs to raise capital in the future, it can sell the shares that it bought to get the money back. Now, of course, if the shares have gone down in value since they bought it, that's a little bit of a problem. At least they can get some of their money back. But if the shares have gone up, which is usually what happens after corporate buybacks, because who better to know what their company is worth than the company itself, right? So when they buy it back, whenever they sell it, their shares after buying it back at a profit, a lot of times, that money is either used to invest in a company to grow, or it is given to the shareholders of the company. Yes, that's us, the people who invested in the company. So, if these corporate buybacks are limited, then it's going to hurt the investors in the long run, and it's going to hurt the company. It can make stocks more volatile, because then companies will either have to sit on cash and possibly lose out to inflation, or they're going to have to allocate their money in higher risk ways. And when that happens, it can make it harder to give employees bonuses and things like that. So actually, I think that limiting buybacks is going to hurt the employees too, not just the investors. And it's just, I don't think that anything's going to come of what Sanders and Schumer are proposing, because number one, Trump's still in office, and obviously he's not going to sign anything that's going to replace restrictions on buybacks. Also, Republicans too are very against this too, and they still have control in the Senate. I also don't think that Trump's going to lose the 2020 election. I think he has a good chance of being reelected, despite his flaws. I don't see anyone in the Democratic Party that I think are going to have a broad enough appeal to be able to beat Trump, especially with how well the United States has done under Trump since he has taken office. And so I don't think anything's really come of this, but this is what you get when you have people that are on the left side of political ideology get power in office. This is exactly the kind of things they want to do, and for whatever reason it may be, I sincerely doubt that this idea is really meant to benefit employees. It never does. And I'm just and also one thing that caught my attention was, what would a company do to help keep its investors happy if it couldn't buy back its own shares? They would just pay it out as a dividend. But Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders said they're going to put restrictions on that too. At least that's what they want to do. And who does that hurt? That hurts the investors. That is cash flow that is leaving the company to the investors. And the investors may or may not reinvest into the company. They might take it. They might be retirees that are collecting dividends. So this is going to hurt older people. I mean, what the heck? You want to try and help people, but you're going to restrict dividend payments? Come on, give me a freaking break. This is ridiculous. I just hear this stuff, and it just makes me so glad that Trump won the election, because if Hillary were president and the Democrats had control of the Senate, then this is the kind of stuff that would be happening. And would companies survive? Oh, sure they would, but it would be a lot harder. And I don't think the stock market would be performing nearly as well as it has been if they had taken office. So that is my rant for today. What is your opinion on limiting corporate buybacks? Do you think it's a good idea? And if so, just explain. Do you think it's a bad idea? I'd like you to explain your position as well. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day. God bless.